Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for our weekly track roundup, where I go over the new singles and tracks that I thought were great, that I thought were worth mentioning, the best and worst of the week. First, before I get into that, I have to mention our sponsors for this video, the good people over at Squarespace. You can hit up that URL over there, actually right there next to my head, squarespace.com/theneedledrop. Get yourself hooked up with a new website, a new platform, something you could start if you have a new podcast, a passion project, a home business. They now have 16 beautiful new designer templates, so you can kind of get that custom specific look that you're looking for. They have an all-in-one platform, so everything that you need is in the platform. You don't got to change it, you don't got to update, you don't got to do nothing. They have also award-winning 24/7 service, customer service for their product, which I myself, as a Squarespace user, take advantage of. They have domains, easy domain transfer, and all that stuff. Setting up to online store feature as well. For more information and all that, again, URL right here in the box. It's also linked down there in the description, where we also have our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links. Hit those up if you're feeling like treating yourself. And let's get into a shout out over here of a new track from the Drums. They are doing a charity single here, which is pretty fantastic for Mexico. So hit that up, pick up that track, buy that track for a good cause if you do end up enjoying it, or even if you don't end up enjoying it because it's for a good cause. And I also want to shout out a new cover that Smash Mouth did of Car Seat Headrest. It's linked down there as well. And also, my buddy Eclectic Method came out with a new song, which is linked in the description box, where he just samples me like crazy. And Eclectic Method, he's a bit of a sample-based music artist, a bit of a mashup kind of guy. The mashup artist is probably an inaccurate description there, but you kind of know where I'm coming from there. He sort of took a lot of different video and audio chunks from a variety of different reviews of mine and sort of strung them into a song, which is actually pretty hilarious and entertaining. And if you hit that track up, if you go listen to it, not only does he make money off of it, but I do too. I'm getting a portion off of it as well because I'm sampled all over it, baby. I'm all over that track, baby. So I guess in a way, this is sort of my formal Anthony Fantano music debut, I guess you could say. So, all right, although I guess it's titled under the needle drop, not Anthony Fantano, but you get what I'm saying. All right, let's get into the tracks that I thought were the worst tracks of the week. Oh no, the worst tracks of the week. Oh, naughty tracks. Oh, you're so bad. You're so naughty. Oh. No, let's stop joking around. The worst tracks of the week. One, this new of Montreal song. Plateau phase, no careerism, no corruption. I don't know what Kevin Barnes is doing on this track. It just kind of seems like he's going through the motions of performing a very tired shtick on not only this track, but the last of Montreal single that I heard, which was actually a little bit more cutting edge than this one. This to me feels like instead of pushing forward and coming out with something exciting and different, Kevin is just like, I don't know, trying to relive of Montreal's glory days from like 2004, 5, 6 or something. I'm really confused by it. It's a very mediocre track, and the music video is actually kind of difficult to watch. And also the new Beach House song, another sort of indie mainstay from the 2000s that I think had a real future ahead of them after their Teen Dream record. But instead of pushing forward and continuing to experiment with the dream pop sound and maybe transcend that and their Pitchfork status entirely, they decided that they were just going to come out with Bloom, which was pretty much a rehash of everything they had done up until that point, but just, with better production, just more panoramic recording and mixing and all that stuff. So while people received it well at the time, I feel like each new project and song I hear from them is just getting more and more tired and uninspired. In this track, it seems like they're the title of it being Lemon Grow, or Glow rather, Lemon Glow, is while it seems like they're trying to experiment a little bit and try something different, it just sounds horrifically awkward, just really, really awkward. Legrand's vocals aren't quite as helped by that little extra splash of reverb. The beat is really weird. There isn't that usual type of atmosphere that kind of makes their music so intoxicating, yet they don't really replace it with anything to sort of make the track a bit more engaging or entertaining in any way. So I'm pretty let down by these two new tracks. I'm going to move on to the tracks that I thought were meh. Not great, not awful, but certainly worth shouting out and mentioning. First, this new single from YG, which doesn't have the, quite the West Coast DJ Mustard style, I guess kind of Bay Area sounding G-Funk inspired vibes that are all over his last record. This is a more contemporary, more like trap inspired affair. The tune itself isn't bad. He just sounds kind of weird to me over this production. I don't think it does a lot for him personally, but I feel like he's trying to progress forward, trying to do something different, trying to advance, or trying to do something a little bit more modern. And it's obviously a pretty gritty song, a lot of gang references throughout the track too. I mean, just look at the freaking cover. That doesn't need to be explained to you most likely. It's not bad. I'm sort of looking forward to seeing what he does next, because while I do love his last record, I don't expect him to try to do the same thing over again completely. This new track from The Body is actually kind of compelling. It does have an odd intro. The shrieking and the beat don't really do all that much for me. However, the lingua ignota vocals, her vocals that kind of pop in around the first third of the track, and the strings that kind of build up and up and up, higher and higher and higher as the track progresses, are pretty incredible. Gotta say, I'm kind of intrigued by this upcoming Body record, though I've never been head over heels for much of what they've done so far outside of their debut, which is actually pretty incredible, pretty noisy, pretty freakish. New track from Rina Sawayama. It was a Valentine's Day themed track, so sorry if you're a little late on this one. It's not Valentine's Day anymore. Although this track it's kind of sexy. It's kind of a no strings attached kind of deal. I didn't care too much for the melody on this one, but still her voice and the kind of retro, kind of futuristic production is there. I just didn't care for the melody at all. It just felt like really tense and just really, I guess, not pleasing at all to the ear. But still, there were a lot of other things about the track that I thought were pretty good, as up to snuff as I have expected them to be, given her nice output so far. I'm loving this new single and music video from La Luz. This new song of theirs being titled Cicada. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The music video is like an old sort of like novella or like a Mexican soap opera or something. And the whole track sort of sounds like surf rock, but with just like a splash of just like Latin flair to it. It's a very nice track. Didn't blow me away, but it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. This new Dr. Octagon track, I think Dr. Octagon is like definitely back here. Like this is definitely the Dr. Octagon I remember. However, the concept of the track is Octagon this, Octagon that, Octagon, like he really goes overboard with it to the point where it's like, I don't know, it's almost hard to enjoy because I can't like not laugh at it. But obviously there is an element of it that does feel kind of comedic and kind of tongue to cheek. It just feels a little overkill, you know what I mean? But listen to it for yourself, and you will hear how lyrically like laser focused this guy gets on a concept and an idea. And if you haven't listened to, I'm going to be doing you guys a disservice here if I don't bring this up. If you guys haven't heard, I just want to look it up because I pronounce it wrong all the time. Dr. Octagonologist. Octagonologist. If you haven't heard that record, you're fucking up. You're fucking up. You need to do yourself a favor. Dr. Octagonologist. I'm really bad at pronouncing and reading things, but you guys already know that by now. All right, moving on from there. This new single from Diplo featuring D.R.A.M is pretty interesting. Like, there are points when I wish the instrumental had a bit more punch and a bit more viscera to it, but essentially Diplo and D.R.A.M come together and, like, I don't know, like, deliver this 70s soul rock tune. D.R.A.M's vocals are just totally turned up to 10, and he is just soaring through this rock mix, which again, it does sound very sequenced and synthesized, so it's not quite as explosive as I would like to be, but damn, I would love to hear D.R.A.M, at least for a track or two, like front a band that plays this kind of music. Like he pulls it off so well. Most of my issues, again, come from the production side of things, but D.R.A.M just fucking kills it on this track. If you listen to this track for anything, like listen to it for D.R.A.M's singing, because it's amazing. He's such a versatile artist. This new Black Milk track was okay, True Lies. I thought the production and some of the vocal layering were sort of messy, but I did appreciate the lyrical concept of the song quite a bit, and still looking forward to his upcoming album here. And that is it, I think, until I get to the best tracks. However, that is not all the tracks. I also wanted to shout out down there in the description box the new Mark Kozelek song, which Austin wrote a blurb, he wrote a write-up for. It's a very lengthy track. It deals at least a little bit in the school shooting that just occurred on Valentine's Day, of course, because Mark is somebody who writes about very, very current events and his feelings on said events, especially when they are sort of very public and very national tragedies. So that's no surprise. The instrumental is one of the most interesting I think he's pulled together in a while, but the weird like Bill Evans, Bob Evans narrative detours the track takes, I think could have just been cut entirely. And to me personally, feel like kind of like a distraction from what may have originally inspired him to write the track, or what at least feels like that given how the song starts, you know? So in a way, I do appreciate Mark's sentiments and I like what he's doing instrumentally, but also simultaneously I'm disappointed and kind of just scratching my chin and just wondering like what exactly is the end, or I guess the point of sort of going so narrative that you're basically like doing an internal monologue within an internal monologue within an internal monologue within an internal monologue. You know, it just kind of seems like you're kind of losing the narrative of your own song in a way. But I guess that's my personal thoughts on it. And also in this section of the video, the best tracks, I have forgotten to have my buddy Jeremy add in some art for the new Iceage single, which is going to be linked down below and is actually really good. So don't miss out on that one. All right, new track from the Voidz. We got a lot of tracks in this episode, man. We got a lot of tracks in this episode. New track from the Voidz. They have a new album out coming very soon, titled Virtue, obviously. And this new song of theirs is titled Pointlessness. It's one of the saddest ballads. Actually, the saddest single to come out from this new album cycle. It's like absolutely heart-wrenching. Love the instrumental, love Julian's voice, love that I'm hearing something a bit more experimental from the band, not quite as straightforward as the first couple of singles that they dropped. Also, new SOPHIE track, amazing production, total banger, totally futuristic, totally blown my fucking mind. I can't wait to hear this goddamn album. I don't know what else to say, man. It's like the craziest, most avant pop like I'm hearing this decade. You know, it's like totally just blah, 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 scrambling my brain. I can't even begin to fucking describe this track accurately. You know, like I feel like since SOPHIE has taken the initiative in adding more vocals and lyrics to her music, that it's really just kind of come together in a way into something totally unique and different. I don't know. I don't feel like I'll have an accurate explanation until I hear the album. But I'm just loving everything I'm hearing so far. Another thing I'm loving is this goddamn Ravyn Lenae track, Sticky, produced by Steve Lacy, who did a little bit for the new Kendrick Lamar. He also had I think like a demo EP thing come out last year that some people were crazy about. I wasn't that into it, but still. Doing work for Lenae on here, someone who I'm not familiar with prior to this track, but she is fantastic. Well, not only is Steve's instrumental here great, like it's so funky. It's a really interesting blend of pop, of funk, of R&B, of a lot of different things. And Lenae's vocals are really just kind of like the showstopper. You know, they're really just like the focal point of the track. And not that she, at least from what I've heard so far, seems like a super flashy or super technical singer, but she has so much personality, and she kind of brings all of these weird, like somewhat spazzy, but also very sensual and intriguing vocalizations into this track that really kind of grabbed my ear right away. She's just got like kind of a weird, fringy angle to her approach on this style of music that I think is really cool. I'm appreciating a lot. Moving on from there, new Kero Kero Bonito song, where everybody's been freaking out because they're like, oh, Kero Kero Bonito, they're putting guitars in their songs. Where are the synths? The song's called Only Acting. And a lot of those elements of Western pop and Japanese pop still show up in their stuff, but then there's like a bit of a pop punk element that pops in here too that's actually pretty awesome. I like it a lot. It's very fun. It just kind of keeps up that same kind of cutesy energy, but it has sort of a gutsy, a little bit of an edgy thing going on now that they're, I don't know, fucking with a rock sound a little bit on this track. All around a good tune and an awesome risk that they took that I think panned out very nicely. Not that I'm anticipating that the entire record that they drop next is going to be a rock album, but it is a really cool thing that they did here. And I am hoping that this single is on the new album. New Joji, I guess project. It's kind of like a his last EP that I reviewed. This is sort of like the the built up version of it with a bunch of remixes and stuff. And there's one particular remix of the track Demons, which Lunice produced, Lunice of Tonight fame. It's actually like really amazingly chopped up, like total banger, and just like really futuristic sounding and very colorful, very bubbly, and very bouncy. Moving on from there, new Frank Ocean cover of the song Moon River, which is actually one of my favorite ballads for a long time. Love Audrey Hepburn singing on that track. At first, I thought Frank's vocal layering on the song was a little weird, a little gimmicky, but then I came to appreciate it after a couple of listens. His rendition is pretty heartfelt, but I will say there is kind of a weird, I guess, kind of a standoffishness about his version of the track, which I think comes through on some of those weird vocal experimentations. But I do think he does take some very interesting but subtle liberties with the melody and the lyrics of the song as well, which I think are pretty refreshing. Moving on from there, this is it. Oh, there we go. This is the new single from Courtney Barnett, which, man, I didn't think I would end up loving the new Courtney Barnett song, but here we are. It's titled Nameless, Faceless. Not only is it an incredibly vibrant, colorful, fun, interesting music video, but the song topic of this song is super fucking serious. Basically kind of tapping into that mental fear of being a woman and walking around at night, feeling unsafe, keys clutched between your fucking fingers, because you're afraid you're going to be attacked or assaulted or whatever. So the way that she kind of condensed that down into a very rough and wild garage rock tune was very interesting. And not only that, but I think as far as, I guess, recording and song structure and sort of the way the band is performing and sort of gelling on this track, it's much more interesting than the kind of lazy, laid back, very somewhat like I don't know. There's just like a real sense of malaise in Courtney's past records that I didn't care for all that much. This track to me felt very urgent and in an exciting way, and I feel like she's taken her very narrative approach and very wordy approach to lyricism and songwriting, and actually turned it into something incredibly interesting with this new track over here, given that it seems like topically she has so much more purpose on this track than on previous songs, where it seems like she's just kind of drawling on and on and on about whatever sort of thing happens to be popping in her head. It's not particularly for me. I get why some people dig it, but I'm just liking the direction she's taking on this new track so much more. It just seems way more engaging, I guess. Moving on from there, new Code Orange single. It was an Adult Swim single that I didn't mention last week. It slipped by me, or I was aware of it, but I forgot to add it. And I'm trying not to let these songs slip by me anymore when they do stick out to me. And this is actually one of the best tracks I've heard from the band post-album. So it's actually pretty awesome that they were able to come through with another, I guess, kind of banger that's a fusion of like elements of alternative rock and metalcore, and there were some like really weird, crazy post-production edits and detours in the track that were pretty amazing as well. I'm hoping that Code Orange just continues to experiment and push forward and just like, I don't know, just like not only just push, shove, violently burn the boundaries that I think are limiting a lot of rock, and especially loud rock and extreme rock right now, because it seems like they're really experimenting in a way that a lot of their contemporaries aren't, and I think this song over here is certainly proof of that. One track over here I wanted to point your attention to is the new Cocc Pistol Cree track, Check Ya Man, and she just came out with this new single, new video as well. It's hilarious. It's catchy. It's a song all about, I guess, relationship dynamics, to sort of put it lightly. If you don't remember Cocc Pistol Cree, she was featured on, God, what song was it? But it was on Clipping's debut record for Sub Pop. She had one of my favorite verses on there. And I know she's been coming out with stuff since, and this is probably the best track that I've heard her drop since that feature, and I'm loving it a lot. Like, it's definitely one of her catchier tracks, definitely one of her more compelling vocal performances, and some of her best verses and lines as well. So shout out to her. And I want to give a shout out to the new Anna Von Hausswolff track, new album on the way, Dead Magic. This new song over here is titled The Truth, The Glow, The Fall. It is a 12-minute monster. In only the way that someone like Anna Von Hausswolff could deliver it. It's an epic, long-winded, very heart-wrenching piece. The organ's there, the atmosphere's there. You gotta hear it. It's amazing. It's immense. And that has been our weekly track roundup, guys. That has been it. So thank you for watching. You're the best. I love you. Remember, again, the good people at Squarespace that help bring this video to you, and our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links. And I will see you guys in the next video. I love you. Weekly track roundup forever.